What if I told you that the secret of manifesting your true desires, your dream life, isn't about luck at all, actually, maybe a little, but it's not luck. I know the title of this video, Lucky Girl Syndrome. What if I told you that it's actually neuroscience, and you don't need to be a neuroscientist to understand this? I have been studying this for the better part of this last decade as I studied to learn hypnotherapy and different modalities, and then applying things to my life, helping clients have breakthroughs. And over the course of time, the science is simply undeniable. And I believe that when you marry the mystical with the scientific, you are golden. You are going to be on that path to manifest your dream life. You're going to have this sensation of calmness, of certainty, and you're just gonna get it because there is a formula to this. And we're gonna dive into the 9 steps that you need to embrace your lucky girl era. And I also wanna emphasize for those of you who relate to this, because I felt this way, I don't like the word luck. I just feel like luck is random. I feel like it could be taken away from me. But the word blessed really resonated with me more. So just try it on for size. Like if I say blessed girl syndrome or blessed man syndrome, I just find like I digest it better. So always be free to shift the vocabulary, because like the moment I say the word blessed, a part of me feels like I'm more in the driver's seat, whereas it's not like random things happen to me. I can choose to be blessed. And it actually goes hand in hand. Like you can choose to be lucky, but I have a harder time believing that I can choose to be lucky versus I get to choose to be blessed. Comment below if you understand what I mean. And so also, if we don't know each other, hi, my name is Atena. We have our little dog here, Sage. Welcome to the channel. I'm sorry, honey, go back to sleep. Welcome to the channel. On this channel, we learn to love ourselves unconditionally and we manifest our dream realities. So if that's something you're interested in, you should consider subscribing. Now, if there's one thing that has radically shifted my life, especially in the last 2 years, to get into that main character energy, to manifest up the wazoo, it is setting an intention every single morning. And I've been talking about this a lot because I have this journal, shameless plug, you don't need to buy it, I'm just letting you know. I got a journal that I created. It's gonna be linked down below. But what we do inside this journal, we go over what are our quarterly, yearly goals. Or like, what is it that you wanna achieve over the year? And get really specific about the stories you tell yourself, the stories you're letting go, and what direction are you going? And what we do on like a daily basis is that we start every day with an intention. Now, when I first created this, I didn't even think of the science behind it, but the science of it, the neuroscience of it is actually quite wild. Because when you are clear on your direction, right? You are clear on your main character direction. So I have to emphasize that part. You gotta know where you're heading in life. If you don't know what you're manifesting, none of this is gonna work out for you. But I'm assuming, and if you haven't done it, just take a moment and say, what is it I want to desire? Just pick something that like right away from your heart, it comes through. Setting an intention every single morning before you start your day, it does 2 things. The first thing is that it activates this thing within the back end of our brain that's called the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system, it is actually designed to scan, filter, and distort your reality to get the information that you need. You cannot possibly digest all the information and wavelengths that come to you in a given moment. Every single second, you have 11 million bits of information that is received by the body. However, you cannot consciously realize all that. So when you set an intention, you pick up on the cues that are actually relevant to you. So of those 11 million bits, you actually digest about 50. That's nothing, okay? That is like Mount Kilimanjaro of information and opportunities and wavelengths that come at you, and you digest about this much, right? So you gotta be intentional about what you're digesting. And the other thing that it does is that it also activates your prefrontal cortex, which is what makes us human. If we didn't have our prefrontal cortex, we would be like Sage here. no impulse control, not understanding many things. Like our prefrontal cortex, it's the CEO. It is the boss, the executor. And think of it this way. When you set an intention and you activate your RAS, your reticular activating system, to scan the information, you're scanning the right information for the boss. So imagine you're running a company. If you don't have the information, how are you going to make good decisions? So setting an intention is literally like a double whammy. If you are not doing this every single day, if this is the only thing you listen to in this whole video and you click off, which I really hope you don't because it's getting juicier and juicier, do this every single day. Trust, okay? If I'm looking here, it's because I got my notes, y'all. So, okay, the second thing is that you want to very much step into the energy of who you're becoming on a daily basis. I find setting the intention really helps. Again, when you do something like journaling inside the chrysalis, you get really clear on the stories that you tell yourself, the embodiment that you bring forward. And I think a lot of times we're waiting for the thing to manifest in order to embrace that energy. However, you get to be her now, be him now. This is really the hypnotherapist in me. Like, I can't help it. When I hypnotize my clients, it's like, I actually did a be her now hypnosis with the client yesterday, and like literally it was like, be her now. So say it even to yourself. Maybe that's your intention. You can write out your, like, who you would become if you were to manifest what it is that you desire. So if you were in that relationship that you really, really desire, if you had that business that you really, really desire, if you lived in your desired home, your desired place, how would you walk? How would you talk? How would you breathe? How would you manage your relationships? Write it down. And in fact, read it every single day, every single morning. As you're setting your intention, read this manifesto and click it in. Be her now. This is the foundation of identity shifting. Something that can really help you with this is doing something like hypnosis. So there's hypnosis on YouTube. If you want to do a personalized hypnosis, I'm going to link my info below. If you want to do it together, I offer that. And to know that that is going to shift your default mode network. So your default mode network is how you are in an automatic sense. So when you intentionally set yourself to be her now, be him now, you plant it in your subconscious. If you use something like hypnosis or visualizations or affirmations, whatever it is that you want to reprogram your subconscious identity so that you naturally gravitate towards that energy. And so as you're doing this, the third part of this to rewire your energy frequency is to step into the attitude of gratitude. And this is something I've been doing for years. It helps so much. I do it every night. Sometimes I do it in the morning. But something that I want to say, I'm holding this journal because I write my gratitude in this journal. Of course I do. You want to be specific with your gratitude. I think for a long time I was like, I'm grateful for my dog, I'm grateful for my husband, I'm grateful to have food in the fridge. Great, like that's great, but that's also lazy, right? If there's a specific thing that happens that day, like maybe, I'm currently in Montreal, Canada. It's so gloomy like right now. It's like gloomy all the time. I never noticed this about Montreal until, anyways, I digress. This morning I woke up and there was sun coming into the bedroom, and I just sat there, like put my head in the sun. I read out my life manifesto, my identity shift. I set my intention. I listened to an affirmations track, and I just like let the sun in, and I was silent after for a good 5 to 10 minutes. I wrote that specifically after. I'm like, I am so grateful to have this moment in the morning with the sun shining in the room. And like, that's specific. It's not like, oh, I'm so grateful for the sun. Okay. What are you specifically grateful for? And write 3 of these each day. Now, the neuroscience of this, if you have not heard of the happiness equation, it's a book by Sean Acorn. Okay, might be butchering his name, but you can also Google it on YouTube. He's super famous about this. He talks a lot about it. The neuroscience for this is that when you focus on gratitude, you are again activating your reticular activating system. So the part of you that filters, that scans, deletes, distorts reality, to seek out what is working in your favor, how blessed you are, how lucky you are, right? And the thing is that the more you pay attention to this, the more you pay attention to this. And it's not just a foofy lala thing. It actually builds your emotional resilience. It makes you more solution oriented. It makes you happier. This is why he called his book The Happiness Equations. There's other things that he talks about, but gratitude is a pillar, main pillar of this. People who have an attitude of gratitude are healthier, stronger minded, more blessed. Think about it this way. The more resilient you are, the more solution-oriented you are less likely to fall victim to a victimhood mindset. Yeah, you're less likely to complain. Complaining makes you dumber, by the way, just like gossip. The more you complain, the more, I'm not saying never complain, like you gotta let things out, but if you're used to complaining every single day, know that it actually makes you dumber. It really lowers your energy frequency, makes you more tired, it makes you get sick. So why not take those 5 to 10 minutes or 5 minutes a day to get specific on what you're grateful for? Now, the fourth thing goes hand in hand with this is to take a moment throughout the day. I like to do it, I like to do it at night inside my journal, to reframe the things that have really bothered you throughout the day, because things are always gonna, not always, things are neverly gonna bother you, right? And this isn't about toxic reframing. I wanna really emphasize that because I'm gonna link a video where I talk about toxic reframing below, just because a lot of people don't realize that they spiritually bypass trauma by constantly reframing, myself included, by the way, and I talk about it in the video. But I want you to take it on that you are the main character of your life. If you don't take it upon yourself to be that main character energy, you are so much more likely to fall into the victimhood mindset. You get to be the opposite of a victim. You get to build resilience. You are rejected? Great. That's the universe's redirection. An opportunity fell through, a better one is coming. How are you preparing for that? Actually, one of the things that one of my coaches says that I absolutely love is that some of your biggest manifestations are going to come when luck meets your preparation. So let's say an opportunity or a relationship fell through. How are you going to set yourself up? Like, what are the things that you're going to work within? How are you going to decide to show up even stronger? Prepare yourself for the moment when the blessing is ready to come in, for the moment where the luck starts to enter in your life. So remember, again, you're the main character of your life. No one is coming to save you, boo-boo. No one is coming to save you. You are 100% responsible for your reality. You get to cry about it sometimes if you want to. Let those emotions out. I am never about suppression on this channel. I'm always about unconditionally loving and accepting yourself. And at the same time, that unconditional love and self-acceptance is not an open invitation to dive into a pity party and to just stay there. Now, the fifth one, as you are doing all the things, as you have your wins, as you're reframing your failures, I want you to celebrate your wins. There is this book that we just did inside our book club in the community that I have. It's Possible Community. Okay, why am I stumbling on my words? Manifestation community. In fact, I'll link it for you below. We have a book club. We do all sorts of things. We also have Power Hour. Anyways, lots of cool things. I should have probably talked about it even earlier. I'm going to link it for you below. But anyways, in our book club, we read this book that is so powerful. It's called 10x is easier than 2x. And inside the book, there's this one part of chapter 4 where they talk about the gap and the gain. And in fact, I think they did a whole book on the gap and the gain, but I just want to talk to you about this one part in the chapter. So when you are constantly living in your future self, or you're constantly projecting that in a future state, you're going to be happier, you're going to be better, you are going to constantly live in the gap. And even if you manifest the things that you want, and they look through people who are super successful, they're still not happy because they're constantly putting things outside of them. So gratitude is going to help reel that in a bit. But at the same time, when you make it a point to celebrate yourself throughout your journey, celebrate your wins. You know how many times I celebrated just catching a negative mindset and just squashing it? You're training your brain literally that you're a winner. You're training your brain to be in celebration mode. Celebration is such a high frequency. It's such a fun frequency. You should want to celebrate. Like, life is meant to be fun. You know, this might sound like a tangent, but I feel, I don't know, I just feel like it's relevant to talk about. Sometimes when things get like way too serious, I remind myself that I am this ball of energy on this rotating rock that is moving across the Milky Way within a galaxy of multiple galaxies. It's just not that serious. Like, yes, there's a lot of serious things in life, and you should take your personal development journey and your manifestation journey seriously. But it's also not that serious. Like, let yourself celebrate, let yourself have wins, let yourself be joyful. Okay, I'm done. Now, number 6, you want to romanticize your life. Like, light that candle, eat your food without watching TV. That was for me. I did that a lot. Take your time, do things slow. When you come out of the shower, instead of just like, blah, 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 like, take the extra 7 minutes to softly lather your cream. When you slow down and you pay attention to the basic, to the mundane, you let yourself unplug also from overstimulation, over hustle, overdrive. First of all, I just want to let you know, you rebalance the dopamine in your brain. Dopamine is your reward system. It is the way you show up to life. It's highly linked to your subconscious identity. Not a lot of people talk about that. Let yourself at times sit and do nothing and romanticize that. I promise you, I was actually talking about this with a client that is currently getting into sobriety, and I myself, I'm sober now. It's been about 1 year and 4 months, and before that I was already on a more sober path, but I fully went sober about a year and a half ago. And what I realized is that life, when you let yourself be bored, when you let yourself feel things, like, it feels challenging, like being bored doesn't feel good, right? Romanticizing feeling bored or doing things slow or just doing things lightly, there's almost a resistance to it. But one thing I'll promise you is that it will make your life so much easier. When you slow down, you savor small joys, you let yourself be bored, you're balancing the dopamine in your brain, and you are activating your parasympathetic nervous system. I think too many people have no idea that they're in fight and flight. I know that when people get really annoyed with, let's say, the length of my video, I'm like, bro, you clicked on a 25-minute video. You wanna go see a 2-second TikTok or a 2-second reel or a 15-second story, go do that. We're not meant to consume information that rapidly and that quickly. It actually messes us up, and it makes us want so much instant gratification. We live in the Amazon delivery Uber era, and it makes life, actually, it's supposed to make life easier, but it makes certain parts of life so much harder. Take the extra time to walk with no music. Oh, heaven forbid you don't listen to music and you're just walking. Maybe practice the see, hear, feel meditation. So if you don't know what that is, as you're walking somewhere without listening to music or anything, you take 5 minutes to just observe. What are you seeing? Look at the sky, look at the trees, the buildings. Just see, what are you seeing? What are you feeling, right? You're feeling the wind on your skin, the sun on your face. You're feeling the clothes on your back, the ground under your feet. What are you hearing? Are you hearing the birds, the sound of the traffic, people talking? Just let yourself be present without constant stimulation. Romanticize the boring AF walk, and you will become a lot more resilient. Your nervous system is going to relax. Okay, I'm done. Now, number 6, you want to create novelty in your life. I am a firm believer of having routine. I think routine really helps. Every now and then, though, you want to spice it up. If you're always working at home, Go to a different coffee shop. Don't always go to the same coffee shop. Make things fun. Like the other day, I told myself, I'm gonna go to this coffee shop that's like about a 30-minute walk. I'm gonna get myself a decaf and I'm gonna walk to the pier and I'm going to do my journaling there. Of course, I could just journal at home, but you know what I did? By just creating a small little adventure, I created novelty, and now that memory is imprinted. If not, your life is just gonna be one big blur. So it's kind of funny because like just a moment ago, it's like, you need to get bored, but you also need to create novelty. Make yourself have little adventures. Like every weekend you're doing the same thing. Make yourself uncomfortable, do something different. Go for a walk on the mountain, go for a hike, call your friends, go on a little road trip. Like do things that are gonna bring some novelty into your life. We're almost done, we got 2 more left. Okay, now if you want to be blessed, if you want to be lucky, you have got to learn how to trust your intuition. Now, one of my favorite mantras is that my soul wisdom speaks louder than my logic. Logic is a powerful thing. You want logic in your life. However, you know when you have that instinct to turn left instead of right, that instinct to just say no to this person or to this opportunity, that instinct of this is a course that I would love to take and I feel like it's going to change my life. Following that voice and that intuition, game freaking changer. But I'll tell you something, very hard to listen to your intuition if you're constantly stimulated, you're never letting yourself get bored, and you don't know how to trust yourself. For instance, when I quit drinking alcohol, it really allowed me to trust myself more. And because I trusted myself more, I followed my intuition even more. I'm someone who's been following my intuition pretty loudly actually for the last several years, but I notice it just gets so much clearer. The less I am hyper plugged in, the more I activate the parasympathetic nervous system through breathwork, through hypnosis. In fact, I have a really great confidence hypnosis for women that instigates your intuition. I'm gonna link it below. It's just for women, I'm sorry. I'll create one for men. I know you men, you watch. I love you. I love you. Haven't forgotten about you. But basically what you want to do is get confident in trusting your gut. Get confident in trusting your intuition. Let it lead you where it needs to lead you. And now the final point, number 9, we're here, we've arrived. You got to learn to detach. Now for this one, I'm gonna link a few videos for you below because detachment, the art of detachment, it is going to be your game changer, because as much as you want to manifest certain goals, it's so important. Like, be clear what you want to manifest. Get clear, set the intention, put things into action, do all the other things we mentioned in this video. But if you think that the only way that you are going to be blessed in this life is if that manifests, again, you're living in the gap and you are so attached, you have a chasing energy. It's not sexy. It's not sexy. I think I did this in a video. I'm like, imagine you're going to a department store. It's in the Manifest Your SB video. If you're going to a department store and the person comes like, okay, you can just smell on them that they want the sale. It's not fun. You want to just run away. Even if you wanted to buy the product, you're just like, girl, you need to step away from me, right? And think about that with your manifestations. If you think that the only way that your manifestations come is for this, this, and this to happen, you're trying to control. Detachment is not about not taking action. It's not about not doing the things. It's not about not showing up. It's about trusting God's plan for you. It's about trusting that you are enough and the energy that you're putting is enough, and letting go and surrendering the rest. So much of life is actually about releasing and letting go of control. So much about being blessed is to know what are you in control of and what are you not in control of. And again, I'm gonna link some videos for you below because I feel like this one is a whole other topic that you probably need some support with. And I'm also going to link our community below because so many of the things that I mentioned, we do inside the community. Like I said, we have a power hour that we're starting every month that we're going to prime our minds. We're going to set our intentions, use neuroscience to lock those intentions in. We have a book club. We also just have a very fun, supportive community. So if you want like-minded humans to support you in your delusional dreams, it's the place to be. And with that said, I love you so much. I'll see you next video. Thank you for tuning in, beautiful soul.